Hairspray's historical account of race in America minimalizes the civil rights movement and what it stood for. The movie's Happily Ever After does not accurately depict what happened during that period, nor what actually happened to the Buddy Date show. While the push for integration was a crucial aspect of the movie, it failed to showcase African Americans fighting for themselves. Instead, the movie highlights a white savior that led African Americans to the movement of integration on The Corny Collins Show. Hairspray is a musical comedy that was written by John Waters. Tracy's character is presented as a noble character who is willing to do anything to help African Americans with the oppression and discrimination that they were going through. However, this willingness turns Tracy into a symbol of a white savior, which is problematic to the plot. During the 60s, Black were the ones leading the civil rights movement. But in the movie, when Negro Day gets canceled from the Corny Collins Show, Tracy suggests to Mouth, if we can't dance, maybe we should march, like on the 11 o'clock news, in which Mouth agrees to this march as if Blacks were not already protesting during that period, or they've never thought of doing that. That scene not only presents a white savior, but also has an effect on the audience by exercising the white dominance over people of color. In What is Racial Domination? The colorless multicoloredness of whiteness secures white power by making it hard, especially for white people and other media, to see whiteness. This, of course, also makes it harder to analyze. It is the way that Black people are marked as Black and are not just people in representation that has made it relatively easy to analyze their representation. Whereas white people, not there as a category, everywhere, everything as a fact, are difficult, if not impossible, to analyze, quote, white. The subjects seem to fall apart in your hand as soon as you begin. Any instances of white representation is always immediately something more specific. Yet, Hairspray is more about white people than it is about Black people in the civil rights movement. It focuses on whiteness and their contribution in helping integrate the Corny Collins Show, which takes away from what actually led to the civil rights movement. In doing so, the show is essentially rewriting history from the perspective of Blacks, not just being able to fight for themselves. Meanwhile, that's what they were doing up until today. The movie brings about the question, what gives a white person the right to speak on behalf of Black people, especially in relation to the civil rights era? The director of the 2007 production, Adam Shankman, stated, "The black and white thing is just an emblematic of difference so that it could be about anything. The thing that unifies people is that we're all different. Even the white people were of different ethnic persuasion and religion. Yet the black and white thing is deeper than a symbol of difference. Taking into account that the movie takes place during an important historical movement, the movie could have presented itself from a different point of view." Hairspray had the potential to educate its audience about the Black struggle, yet it rather minimalized it. It created a story of a white hero in order to present integration and the civil rights movement in a lighter manner through comedy, which defends W.E.B. Du Bois' argument of the element of Black theater, about us, by us, for us, and near us. This is to avoid the lack of accurate Black representation in its community in the media.